On the outskirts of a small town stood an ancient library, shrouded in mystery and mystique. Its walls, permeated with the scent of old books, seemed alive, as if they breathed the past and harbored countless dark secrets. In this corner of the world, among forgotten shelves and dusty corridors, unfolded a story that would have remained hidden from the eyes of ordinary mortals, if not for the horrifying events that occurred within its walls one day. As you immerse yourself in the story, imagine a dark autumn morning when the wind rustles the leaves on the street and the fog covers the city with a dead shroud. On this day, Elizabeth Martinson, a young archivist of the library, came to work as usual. She was a slender woman with curly red hair and eyes full of determination and curiosity. As soon as she crossed the threshold of the library, something made her feel uneasy. The air seemed heavy, and the usual sound of pages being turned by visitors froze in deep silence. Elizabeth couldn't explain this feeling, but she decided not to pay attention to it and began her duties. She headed to the back room of the library, where ancient archives and rare books were kept. Before her stood a massive door adorned with exquisite carvings. As Elizabeth approached the door, she felt that something strange lurked behind it. But again, deciding that it was just her imagination, she opened the door and entered the room. The room was dimly lit. Only flickering candles illuminated the dusty shelves with books. Elizabeth began her work, sorting through documents and checking them for integrity. But as she immersed herself in her activities, she felt that someone or something was watching her. She felt the weight of a gaze on her, sending shivers down her spine. She decided that it was just nerves and continued her work, trying not to pay attention to her doubts. But the shadow of fear did not leave her, but only grew stronger. Suddenly, she heard a rustle behind her. She turned around, but in the darkness, she saw nothing. Elizabeth's heart began to beat faster, and she felt that something was wrong in this room. All her instincts told her to run, but her curiosity was stronger. She decided to look around to make sure she was alone. She walked along the corridor between the bookshelves, peering intently into the darkness. But the further she went, the more she realized that she was not alone in this room. Suddenly, she heard a whisper, ghostly and mysterious, as if a call from the past. "Who's there?" Elizabeth whispered, but there was no answer. She felt that an unknown force was drawing her deeper into the darkness, as if it wanted to engulf her. Following the whisper, Elizabeth approached one of the distant shelves. And there, among the old volumes and forgotten manuscripts, she saw a ghostly figure, shrouded in darkness, standing before her. She froze in horror, unable to believe her eyes. The ghost began to approach her, its shadow growing heavier, and the air filled with the smell of decay and death. Elizabeth realized that she needed to run, but her legs refused to move. The ghost came closer to her, its eyes gleaming in the darkness, emitting a cold light. Elizabeth could see its face, and the face was familiar to her. It was the face of her mother, who had died many years ago. "Mom," she whispered, trying to comprehend what was happening. But the ghost did not answer, only continuing to slowly approach. With each step, Elizabeth felt her strength leaving her, and fear enveloping her more and more. She closed her eyes, trying to banish the ghost from her thoughts. But when she opened them again, the ghost disappeared, as if dissolved in the air. She was left alone in the darkness, vaguely aware of what had happened. Dazed and frightened, Elizabeth rushed out of the room in the library, not looking back. She felt that this day would leave an indelible mark on her, and that she would never be able to return to this room. Since then, the library has become a place avoided by the townspeople. Rumors of a ghost haunting the bookshelves spread quickly throughout the city, and soon no one dared to approach this place at night. And yet, sometimes in the silence of the night, you can hear a whisper, calling from the depths of the forgotten corridors of the library. It's the whisper of a ghost, lost in time, longing for someone to hear it and unravel its secrets. But only a few dare to enter these doors and immerse themselves in the world of mysticism and horror that lurks within the walls of this ancient library. Several weeks after the mysterious incident with the ghost in the library, the city was engulfed by a wave of strange and terrible events. Residents began to report strange noises heard around the library at night and unexplained shadows moving through the dark streets. Several times people claimed to have seen a ghost resembling the one that frightened Elizabeth. Rumors of a curse lying on this place spread throughout the city, and many decided to avoid it at all costs. However, the most terrifying event occurred on one cold autumn night when the library was engulfed in a fiery inferno. It all started when someone noticed a fire in the rear part of the building. The fire spread quickly, and the flames consumed ancient books and archives as if it thirsted to destroy everything there. The fire alarm was raised too late, and the flames had already engulfed most of the library by the time the firefighters arrived. They fought the fire as best they could, but their efforts seemed futile. Soon the flames spread to neighboring buildings, and the fire threatened the entire block. Hours passed, and the flames did not subside. The firefighters tried to save what they could, but many realized that the library would have to be sacrificed to save the other houses. But what was even more dreadful, people were inside the library. Many, drawn by the strange magnetism of this place, decided to take the risk and enter, hoping to find answers to the questions that had plagued them since the appearance of the ghost. They would have to face not only the fire but also something else that lurked in the darkness of this cursed library. Among the firefighters was Peter Hall, a young rookie whose family lived just a few blocks from the library. His heart beat faster than usual when he saw the flames devouring the old building, but his attention was drawn to the cries in the backyard. He approached and saw a group of people, panic-stricken, trying to escape from the building. Among them, he recognized Elizabeth. Her face was marked with fear, and Peter immediately realized that she was one of those who had risked entering the library. He helped them escape the flames and then assisted the firefighters in battling the fire. But even in this hell, Peter couldn't help but notice something strange. He saw shadows moving among the flames and heard whispers calling to him from the darkness. But he pushed these thoughts aside, focusing on rescuing people and extinguishing the fire. Finally, after several hours, the flames began to die down, and the firefighters managed to put out the fire. When morning came, and it was time to assess the damage, the city was in shock. The library was completely destroyed, and with it, many valuable books and documents stored there were burnt. But more importantly, the bodies of those who had been inside were found. Among the rubble of old walls and book pages, the bodies of the deceased were found. Elizabeth was among them. Her body was charred and distorted by the fire, but there was an expression of peace on her face, as if she had finally found answers to her questions. After this event, the library was closed, and its place remained cursed. No one dared to approach it, and soon it turned into a dilapidated building, forgotten by everyone. But even to this day, among those who lived in the city, there are rumors of strange shadows and whispers emanating from the ruins of the old library, reminding us that some secrets are better left forgotten. In the end, the story of the library turned out to be both terrifying and astonishing. It serves as a reminder that the world of our imagination can be more complex and mysterious than it seems at first glance. This story makes us think about the nature of mysticism and secrets that can hide in the most ordinary places. It reminds us that the world has deep layers of meaning and energy that are sometimes better left undiscovered. Furthermore, the story of the library warns us to be cautious in our quest for truth. It shows that curiosity can lead to dangerous consequences, and some secrets are better left undisclosed. Finally, it reminds us of the power and significance of the past. Even in our modern world, filled with technology and science, the past is always with us, and its secrets can influence our present and future. Thus, the story of the library leaves us with lessons of caution, wisdom, and respect for the forces that surround us, and about the fact that some secrets are better left unspoken.